Which album has the absolute best 80s hard rock guitar tone? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bald Shredder channel. So today we're going to talk about my guitar tone. And this is one of the questions that comes up most in the comments on my YouTube videos and as well as on Facebook when I post videos of me jamming. In the comments section on Facebook, over and over, I get this question. What amp are you using? What effects are you using? What pedals are you using? How do you get that sound? That question has come up over and over so many times that it got to the point a while back where I decided I would make a specific video going over all my amp settings and my effect settings so people could just watch the video and see exactly how I'm getting my sound. So if you're one of those people and you want to know how do you get that sound and what are all your settings at, watch this video. I've got the link for it down in the description. Alright, so first of all, let me just say that I'm not using an actual amplifier, guys. I'm using Line 6 Pod Farm version 2 on my computer. It's software in my computer. My guitar plugs into my audio interface, which is also a Line 6 interface, and then it just goes into the computer and everything is in the computer. All the amp simulator software, the pedals, the effects, it's all in there, and I'm just looking at my computer screen and changing all the settings and doing all that. There's no actual amplifier. So many years ago, when I first got the interface and I got the software and I loaded it onto my computer and I'm checking it out, of course, they've got hundreds of presets of different kind of amp sounds, different amps, different cabinets. I mean, it's so versatile. You can change so many things. You can pick the cabinet, the type of speakers, you can pick the type of microphone that's supposed to be in front of the cabinet. Of course, it's all virtual, right? But you can pick all that stuff. You can even pick like the position of the microphone. And then all these different effects that you can apply. I think it's quite amazing, actually. Okay, but what I really wanted to talk about today was what 80s albums did I use as a reference point? Did I listen to as I was doing the settings in my computer and trying to get that perfect 80s guitar sound? What was I listening and comparing it to so that I could match it up? Now you might think that, Dawkins, one of my two favorite bands, right? You might think that, oh, you were comparing it to like Tooth and Nail and Under Lock and Key. Nope. Or how about my other favorite band, Def Leppard? Oh, you must have been listening to Pyromania and Hysteria. They're two huge albums. You want to get that sound? Also no. So while I love all four of those albums, those guitar tones on those four albums were not necessarily like what I was looking for or what I was going for. And then there's other stuff in the 80s. You might think like AC/DC. They've got that very, clear, punchy, distinct sound. No, I don't want AC/DC sound. That's not for me. How about like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest? No. How about Van Halen? Obviously the guitar tone on those first two Van Halen albums is just like phenomenal, amazing, sounds awesome, I love it. But again, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was going for. Alright guys, so here we go. The one album from the 80s that I consider to have the absolute best, greatest 80s guitar rock sound and tone of all time is Invasion of Your Privacy from Ratt. Are you surprised? That album sounds great. That's my favorite Ratt album also. I love that album from start to finish. And I think that album even sounds better than Out of the Cellar. Production-wise, song-wise, the guitar tone is even better. It's just got like a punchier, crisper tone than Out of the Cellar. I mean, come on, that opening riff to Lay It Down, that's also one of the best 80s guitar riffs of all times. Okay, but that wasn't the only album that I was referencing and listening to as I was trying to do all the settings in Line 6. So it was the Ratt album, of course. I was also listening to Dokken, but not Tooth and Nail, not Under Lock and Key. I was listening to Back for the Attack. And then of course, going with the George Lynch theme, I was also listening to Lynch Mob Wicked Sensation because that album has an absolutely huge guitar sound. Okay, so how about the Def Leppard stuff? I can't just completely ignore all the Def Leppard stuff because some of their stuff does have a great guitar sound. In particular, I was listening to the first two tracks from the Retroactive album. And those first two tracks would be Desert Song and Fractured Love. I think the guitar sounds on those two songs are great. They don't have that overly chorusy or processed sound that you hear on Hysteria. Just a huge, crunchy, raw guitar sound, so I was listening to those. And the last two guys, these are two albums like you don't really hear a lot of people talking about these albums as far as like, wow, what a great sound or great guitar sound on those albums. And the first one would be Don Dokken's solo album, Up From the Ashes. Great guitar sounds on that. Really crystal clear, punchy, crisp, kind of like the Rat album. I really like the guitar sounds that Billy and John had on Up From the Ashes. Okay, and last but not least, guys, Racer X. You know, Racer X gets talked about plenty by guitar players, Paul Gilbert, Bruce Boyer, but I hardly ever hear anybody saying like, well, the guitar tones on Second Heat were phenomenal, so great. That really great, again, punchy, crisp 80s guitar tone. Just fantastic guitar sounds on that Second Heat album. And yeah, I listened to that a lot. So there you have it, guys. That's the stuff that I was using as my reference point as I was doing all the settings in Line 6 and trying to get that like perfect 80s guitar sound, at least as far as what I consider to be perfect. And of course everybody has, you know, a different opinion and their own feeling about what's a good sound and what's not a good sound. But I do think my sound is pretty good, and like I said, I get that question over and over. What amp are you using? What effects are you using? What are your settings that sound so good? Alright guys, so down in the comments, let me know what 80s albums, guitar albums, hard rock, whatever, do you consider to have like the best guitar tones, the best guitar sounds? What is the best in your opinion? Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.